Hi guys, and welcome to this short video on inside the crease timing. Now, during the game, some of us, including myself, like to keep things like what time goals occurred, what time penalties occurred, and this is just a short video on how inside the crease does it, and also the question that I was pondering at 2 o'clock this morning when I was awake and couldn't get to sleep. Not really, I just said that just for effect. Is, are we shortchanging the crowd when we play this game? It's don't know if anybody is, and it's not a comment on anybody who's played inside the crease that I've watched, because when I watch the videos I don't really take much notice of what's going on with the timer, but just a little video for those who like to know these things. So, inside the crease, you can time one of two ways. You can go from 20 down to 0, or you can go from 0 to 20. Now, the difference is that if you come in from 20 to 0, when you're working out times for goals and penalties, you add time to the current position. So if we're on 13 minutes, you would add time to it to work out when the penalty occurred or when the goal occurred, if you're going from 20 to 0. If you're going from 0 to 20, you do the opposite. So if we're on 13 minutes and we have a penalty or a goal, you remove time, because I assume the theory would be that you've moved the clock up to here and something has occurred in between that time period, or you move the clock down and something has occurred between the period before and the current time period. So 20 to 0 you add, 0 to 20 you subtract. So let's say we were in this situation at 30 minutes and we turn over a card and it says penalty if the left wing's penalty is 7, and let's just as a example say that his penalty is 7. So you would then go right defender 14, work out what happens. He had a shot, blah blah blah, he missed. It's an unfortunate number because that is a goal unless it's a shot 0, he's missed, and there's a rebound and it doesn't, and it goes to one of the defending teams. So we stop the play and we start to work out what the penalty is. So the first thing I do is I work the time. So if you come in from 20 to 0 or 0 to 20, it's the same process. You turn over the next card and you look at this number 23 and you divide it by 2. Now I always go, it's 23, so it's 22. So it's 11 seconds. So if you're going from 20 to 0, the penalty occurred at 13:11, because we've got 13 minutes, we're coming down, we add time onto the to the clock. I prefer 0 to 20, and what you do there is you take 11 seconds off, so the penalty would have occurred at 12:49. The reason you do it that way is that obviously if you go up and then something else happens, you could actually, it could occur before the penalty time depending on which way you go, but we're going up. So yada yada yada, 12:49 is the penalty going up, 13:11 is the penalty coming down. Now as for my second statement, which was, are we shortchanging the fans? So when you start a period, you always start on the box, either the 20 or the 0. You don't start off and then move on to 20, and there's a simple reason for that. If you start here and you turn and you go, right, so I've moved the clock on, and you're on to 20 and they score, and then remember we're coming down here, you go 21, which is 10 seconds, and you add, so you scored at 20:10. So you never start off the clock, you have to start either at 20 or at 0. And for line changes, you can see if you're coming, I don't know why most people go for 20 to 0, but as you're coming down, when you land on this square, you do a line change, and then you land line change all the way down. If you're going up, which is what I do, when you get to this box, you don't change the line. When they move to this box, you change the line. So it's the one after if you're going up, because that is the time that the time changed. That's what I do. Now, what you find happens, or some people may be doing this, is that you get to here and you flip the card over, and because it's a pass to, the time advances, you go game stopped, end of game. And that is not correct. And the reason for it is, if you're going up, you take time off, so you haven't reached 20 minutes yet. So if there's a penalty, it may be at 19:52. If there's a goal, it's a goal. So what you have to do is you have to play this out, left defence 28, blah blah blah. Let's say it's getting intercepted, and then when you turn over and this card says it's a pass to and you come off the time, then your 20-minute period is up. And similarly at this end, if you're coming from 20 to 0, you would add time on for anything that happens. So when you're on this 0 square, you could still score a goal, and therefore you must play it out until the next time sequence moves it off the scorecard. And that, in a nutshell, is timing in Inside the Crease. If you don't agree with me, then leave a message and say why, but it seems logical to me that, especially on the, or more pertinently, on the finish of a period, it's not actually on the square. You've got to come off the square because of the plus or minus time constraint that they have when you're playing either 20 to 0 or 0 to 20, because that square could still result in the scoring of a goal, as could that one if you're coming from 20 to 0. Hope it's been helpful. If it has, then give us a like, and hopefully I'll be back soon with period 3 of game 8 of the 1990-91 St. Louis replay. They are at Minnesota. They're at home to Minnesota North Stars in game 8, and I could tell you the current score, but I'm not going to. I'll keep the interest. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this. Thank you very much, and good night.